The Florida Gators in the first year under Billy Napier are going bowling, and this whole program is starting to take shape. Got a win yesterday in Senior Day, 38-6 over South Carolina. It was an emphatic win. We're going to talk all about that. But before we do anything when it comes to the game itself, I just want to talk about the direction this program is heading under Billy Napier. Because to me, since the second half of that Georgia game, it looked like this team now is taking on a direction. And the best picture I could put to it is like when you go somewhere for a hike or you're going to the airport, there is some sort of process that happens before you actually get to go to your destination. Like, for example, you're going on a hike. Well, you got to probably drive to the parking lot first, got to put your shoes on, got to get everything situated. Go to the airport, got to go through security, got to check your bags. Like, there's a little bit of a ramp up to get to there, a little bit of a lead up. And for me, I think Florida has now gotten the lead up process behind them. Again, they're going to be going to a bowl game, which is no small feat for Florida, especially given where they were a season ago. And the program, to me, is starting to take shape. Like I said, the Georgia game, to me, was kind of that directional fork in the road to, okay, this is who we're going to be. Brenton Cox just gets dismissed. Florida responds really well. Not to have anything to say about Brenton Cox, but more to say about Billy Napier and the response this program has to him. They're bought in, and it's evident. You can say whatever you want about the opponents. I think they're impressive spots. Texas A&M was a win on the road. A&M's down bad, but they got a lot of talent on that roster. Got a lot of players that can play, even though they had some guys that weren't in the roster that day. You still got to go to College Station, and they won emphatically on the road. Hard to do in the SEC. Then yesterday, get a home win on Senior Day. And a lot of people fail to recognize Senior Day is such an emotional atmosphere. Like, there's so much going on that day that's not actually about the game, to where, one, it can rob you of your focus in terms of remembering that, okay, we still have to play a game. Two, it changes the entire lead up to that game. Like, your pregame routine is altered ever so slightly because you have to account for that time where the seniors run out of the tunnel. You have to account for a little bit more, dead time from warm up to the game being played. It's small, but I promise you, the details with athletes as a whole, us being creatures of habit, the routine is important. And to have that be altered and to see Florida play the way that they did and getting the win that they did says a lot to me about the way that this program is headed in the first year under Billy Napier. Really quick, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, we would love to have you. Gator Nation, we've had a lot of you join the party recently. If you haven't yet, that's great. Jump on in. The water's fine. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JD Piquel to stay up with everything that we're doing here. The running game for this program continues to establish that identity. Like, for the last 2 weeks now, we've seen them run the football really effectively, averaging 332 yards on the ground in the last 2 games. So that, to me, the identity that tells me is Florida going forward is going to be a tough football team. AR is an absolute dog. Will he come back next year? I don't know. Played really good football yesterday in terms of being a good decision maker, operating the offense. But this program going forward is going to be a tough program. And I got good news for you if you're a Florida fan. Toughness in college football wins. Like, a lot of the time, yes, experience is a big thing. Composure is a big thing. All of those are an ingredient you need to be successful and to win football games, especially in the SEC. But tough teams are what goes deep into the postseason. Look at it. Georgia's a tough team. Michigan, about as tough as they come. LSU, becoming increasingly more a tough team in their first year under Brian Kelly. It's going to be a fun matchup to watch over the next coming years. This brand of football in Gainesville is continuing to layer and establish that it is going to be a tough team going forward. And I think it starts with, like I said, that run game. Montrell Johnson and Trevor Etienne did a lot of really exceptional things. The run game for AR was working. We talk about the offense having a new kind of flavor when he's running the football like he did yesterday. I think he had close to 100 yards. This offense, when they can run the football and take a profit, it's a different kind of team. And we're seeing that now since the second half of the Georgia game, from the A&M game to this one. They're going to be a problem for the rest of the country going forward. So, you made a bowl game in year one. That's great. I don't think that was, wildly unexpected. To set the proper framing, the win against Utah maybe caused that bar to go through the roof for what you expected from this Florida team. Can we win the SEC? Can we do this? Can we do that? That's okay. That's all right. It's very understandable for us as human beings to get excited about a program. But here's the reality. You are bowling, like I said, in the first year under Billy Napier. You established that fairly early on in this season. The over-under win total in Vegas at the beginning of the year for you was 7 wins. You have a game at Vanderbilt, and you have a game at Florida State to get to 8 wins if you were to win both those. Then imagine you get to a bowl game, you win that one, get to 9 wins. Forget the over-under. You're telling me in the first year under Billy Napier, your program, that a lot of people had kind of said Dan Mullen, I don't want to say wrecked, but didn't leave a tremendous setup of depth for you, and we all knew that going into the year, and you win 9 games. Think about the story you're telling yourself as a Florida fan going to the future. And oh, by the way, they've been absolutely dogs on the recruiting trail. Just flipped to Jaden Rashada from Miami to Florida. The future is bright under Billy Napier. And so I want to make sure that we properly assess this, that I think the fork in the road has been bypassed in terms of, that decision was already made. This program's headed one way, and Billy Napier has this team bought in. He has this culture bought in. And I think we're just starting to see the beginning of what he's building. There's a house being built. This season, going bowling, it's just the front steps. This is just the porch. They're going to build an interior. They're going to build a really strong foundation on the recruiting trail. All that talent in the state of Florida that he and Mario Cristobal will go toe-to-toe to try and capture. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch in years to come. So again, Florida, huge win on Senior Day, 38-6. This program now has taken steps directionally. It's going one way under Mr. Scared Money Don't Make Money. I'm excited to watch it. I'm JD Piquel. This has been The Hard Count. Nick Brake doing the real heavy lifting. You can help drive this whole operation by subscribing to the channel. We'd be happy to have you. We're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.